What's the deal, everybody? Welcome back to the studio. Jeremy Deal here, and should I say welcome back to the new side of the studio, because I'm going to use this out for a little bit just to check it out. I got a little bit more designing to go, but let's get into it. Today's topic matter is going to be a talk, or maybe you would call it a rant, or maybe an opinion or an opinionated rant. Either way, we're going to be talking about AI art. I know, lots of strong opinions out there. I'm going to jump into AI art, how I'm using it to not only boost my creativity, but enhance my actual art and photography. Let's dive in. Strap up those boots tight, because here we go. We're diving deep into my personal opinion on this topic matter. So whatever your personal opinion is, you can either comment down below or happily keep it to yourself, because I might not even read those comments. First thing I want to talk about is the actual creation of AI and what I'm using it for, not only to spark my creativity, but how I'm actually using it in my workflow currently. And the way I'm using it in my workflow currently is where I'll start, because it's what really matters, right? How am I, as a professional photographer, using AI in my workflow? And that is simply as a background creation tool. Now, I'll be throwing up a bunch of random images as I talk through this, but generally speaking, I do a lot of composite background style photography. I always have. I've enjoyed it. It's what I like the most. And in order to do that, you have to scour the web for hours and hours looking for parts and pieces that kind of match your idea of what you want to create. That's very time consuming. And the hardest part is that it doesn't actually give you what you have in your mind's eye. As someone who's been a lifelong creative, but not very good at hand art like drawing or painting, I'm okay at it, but I can never really get across what I have in my mind. And that's my problem as an artist personally. So whenever I create these composite backgrounds, it's always other people's work, and it's not exactly what I'm looking for. AI is different. AI allows me to create something that is uniquely mine. And generally speaking, if I follow the rabbit hole deep enough, I can create exactly what I had in my mind. Not a random idea of what I wanted, exactly what I had in mind. Now, as once again, someone who's not a great graphic artist, I cannot go into Illustrator and draw a photorealistic background. This is an amazing tool for me. It really helps me in kind of my sci-fi work or my fun personal projects like cyberpunk style. AI really got me started here in its creativity because I'm kind of obsessed with cyberpunk style sometimes, and I'm also obsessed with anthropomorphic art or animals doing human things. So I downloaded it just to kind of test that. I was like, oh, let me just play with this and have fun. Well, after about 2 days of playing with it and having fun, I started kind of following these rabbit holes of ideas that I've always had. And then I started creating actual art pieces that I've had in my mind for a really long time, but not the actual ability to draw. And I know some people are going to say that's a huge cop-out. You're not an artist, obviously. You should not be able to create these works. And I would like to say, why not? There are people who are not photographers that can create a great photo. There are people who are not authors who can create a great poem. It doesn't matter how you create the art. The only thing that matters to me is that it was your art. Now, here's where I think AI is getting kind of a bad rap, and that's because just about anyone can get onto an AI program like Midjourney or DALL-E, because those are the ones that I have the most experience with. So those are the ones we'll be talking about, in case I didn't mention that on the hit. And in case I also didn't mention, like, subscribe, all that jazz. As a matter of fact, check out my merch. As we're talking about AI, we can talk about some of the art that I've actually created, blending AI and my very limited, talented abilities as an artist, and some of the things using my photos as actual reference work, or my photos in particular. So you can go check out my merch here on YouTube. Go check out my redesigned webpage where you can buy merch. You can check out some of my free presets downloads, check out some of my actual photography that isn't real estate related, or maybe even buy some of my body art prints. I just opened it up recently. For everyone who's already purchased some, thank you so much. It's amazing to know that people are enjoying my art again. AI has got me creative again. As someone who's a real estate photographer for the past few years has been focusing really hard on real estate photography, it kind of burns you out on the hobby of photography because you're constantly creating for work. You're trying to create something for somebody else, but it doesn't allow you that creative kind of outlet. And AI has revamped that in me. Ooh, don't kick the microphone. So we've talked about how it's revamped my creativity. We've talked about how I've started using it into my photography as backgrounds. Now let's talk about the actual size of AI artwork. And this is the thing that might blow your mind the most, because Midjourney and DALL-E actually create very small files. Lots of artists are worried about this, but right now, I think, let's see, I have the numbers written down over here. Let's pull these out. Midjourney creates a 1664 by 1664 pixel image, which is roughly 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And DALL-E creates a 1024 by 1024, which is roughly 3.14 by 3.14. And I don't know the last time you have created any art or hung anything on a wall, but if you're going to be hanging a 3.14 by 3.14 picture on the wall, man, you got some tiny artwork. You need to advance that. And that's the problem. Now, there are softwares that you can bring this stuff into and enhance and enhance and enhance. But the problem is with that comes degradation. And realistically, these tools are not meant to be a solo art creator. These tools are meant to create art that you then take as a creative and turn into your own. These backgrounds that I'm creating, Midjourney isn't making this background. I'm telling Midjourney exactly what to do, and I'm creating iterations and renditions of that until it's just right. And then once that's right, I bring that into Photoshop and make it even better to finalize my actual vision. And anyone who's played with these tools knows hands look horrible. There's no hand art with Midjourney or DALL-E. Can't be done. Like, cool, you can make some pretty faces sometime, but realistically speaking, it's very difficult to create a finished piece of art in one of these platforms. And I think that's a very important thing to remember. Very important thing to remember. It's a very important thing to remember when you're talking about this kind of artwork, is the fact that it's super tiny and it's also not finished art. Some of them look about 90% finished, but that takes a lot of work to do. Now, all that being said, just to say, do I think you should get into AI art? Well, if you're a creative person and you're looking for something fun, yeah, I mean, it's during this slow time, it has occupied so much of my boredom, just random ideas that I can throw out there. And like I said, chasing the rabbit hole of the perfect creation that you have in your mind is super fun, no matter what you do with it. Now, I'm not really going to get into the argument of like, should you sell art created by AI? Because I think as long as you're taking that art and doing something to it to make it your own, is it really AI art or is it just composite work? Just like before, the same stuff I was doing before AI was around. Just now I get to create something that looks like exactly what I wanted. So I don't want to get into that argument. I think it's totally fine. I use it all the time. I use it for fun. I use it in my profession. Man, I know. There you go. That's all I really got to say on it. As I said before, you can comment down below, but I might not read it. That's just my opinionated rant on AI art and the fact that I like it and I'm still using it. I use it for my professional work and it's enhanced my creativity tenfold. Maybe not tenfold. I don't know. It's just brought it back. I'm enjoying creating things that aren't just real estate again. As always, keep rocking and rolling. Enjoy what you're doing. Make smart business decisions and maybe check out AI and go generate your own art. See what you think of it. Catch you next time.